start off this video by letting everybody know I'm fully aware. I'm fully aware of the stigmas that exist when it comes to this community, right? When it comes to the T's and the LGBTQ community, I'm fully aware of the stigmas that exist. But right now, we're just going to talk about some real stuff and some true stuff. So listen, as you can see, this reality TV star is arrested on, basically abusing a child. And this person is Sidney Starr. Sidney Starr happens to be a member of the T community, right? And the reason why this is troubling is because obviously there's a kid involved, right? But number two is because I'm gonna just have to keep it a beam, man. When it comes to this group, I'll say there have been a lot of situations where, normally you'll catch a member of this community, they'll be lying about who they mess with, or, essentially trying to use the embarrassment that comes with, messing with a member of the T community to their advantage. Okay. They try to leverage the fact that most individuals would be embarrassed to be caught messing with one of the T's. Okay. If you don't know what the T is, you're just going to have to put two and two together. If you in the LGBTQ, go look up what the T stands for. There you go. But I'm only going to be referring to them as the T's for right now. So this individual, Sidney Starr, meets a kid. Was in a bar, they said. Arrested, charged with aggravated molestation, battery under 16 oh wow, sodomy. Oh, that's right. That's yeah. Embassy Suites. Oh man. Of course, denied the allegations against them. So here's the thing, right? This is troubling because this is the same person who lied on Chingy and ruined Chingy's whole life. And Chingy is a strong man for not suing this individual for that. Because again, leveraging the embarrassment that comes with, dealing with somebody who's a member of this community and using that to get things that they would like, whether it's money or, maybe it could be some sort of other fulfillment. Either way you slice it, it's like, this is what this is what this community is unfortunately known for. And there's some truth to every stereotype, right? There's truth to every stigma, just to some degree, but some people, they do kind of spin it a little bit. But in her case, this person's case, absolutely not. This person is known for lying, and this person is known for not being a credible source, not being a trustworthy narrator. So denying the allegations, and it's coming from this individual, it doesn't really do them any good. But here's the fact of the matter is, this person decided to give brain to somebody who's under the age of 16. Met this individual in a hotel, maybe in a lobby or whatever the case, and solicited themselves towards the younger child. Now, I seen a video. Man, I think somebody did an interview or something. Somebody did an interview, and they were talking about this situation, and people are getting on that top. 25 years to life. Oh, okay. So there's a whole lot more to this apparently. But as far as I'm aware, the person they solicited themselves, the kid was like, you know what, I'm down. Because, young boys, I'm not gonna lie, man. As a young boy, you think messing with an older chick is swaggy, is cool, right? There are a lot of older chicks that do take advantage of young boys. And, that is a real thing. You know what I mean? Some fools see it as a rite of passage, but, being sexualized like that is not a good thing at all. You're taking advantage of as a young boy. Now, there were also more allegations that Sidney Starr is known for doing this, and this is something that they, there's that they do have a bit of an appetite for. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel bad for the members of the T community, because me personally, I know members of the T community, the LGBTQ community, right? Regular folks, whether it's at work or whatever the case, and they're regular people. They go to work, they do their thing. I don't really know them too much, but even then, it's just like they're at work minding their business, doing their thing. So the problem is this individual and their dealings sets them back very far. And the reason why is because there are people who already have, some sort of a bias against them, off the dribble. Like, nah, they like, they like kids and all this type of stuff. That's something that's been alleged against this community for quite some time, because the argument is, well, if they're not interested in people from the gay community, or they're not interested in the people from the a lot of the times the T's want to trick a straight dude into thinking that they're a girl, and then trying to get their rocks off. And the finesse is part of the game. You know what I mean? That's like how guys, we trying to go rizz up girls. How gay people, they're trying to figure out who's gay, who's not. Sometimes they know based on how you move, if they can at least poke and prod and see what you want, if you're DL, whatever the case. And then in their case with the T's, right, people say that they try to use the embarrassment of when they reveal to you, hey, by the way, I'm this, and we're already in the middle of some action. You're so embarrassed you won't go tell anybody. And that type of thing, it does work. You know what I mean? They are able to leverage silence and get what it is that they want. We've seen it a bunch of times. Like, I remember when another member of the T's community came out and they lied on Kevin Gates, said that Kevin Gates did this and did that in an interview that had eventually been taken down. You know what I mean? But everyone had reacted to it, and when it had came back not be true, they deleted the interview. But me personally, I feel as though when it comes to this baddie stuff, like when they try to do this type of thing and make it like on some reality TV stuff, a lot of this stuff be a play. It's like plays, and it almost feels like a psyop or propaganda, because they're putting these like weird individuals are being pedestalized in a way that poorly represents that community, but also pushes the idea that and I've seen it in interviews and stuff, like this is a better option for men than a biological woman is. Like, this is what it's like. They're selling this idea of what we already got and what we already choose isn't good enough or is inferior to what's being engineered, if that makes sense. Like, these individuals, for the most part, are not products of, how traditionally, somebody comes to terms with making the transition. They say, they feel as though all the way back in the 70s, bro, like back when Al Pacino made that movie where he robbed a bank to try to get a sex change and run off with his boyfriend and all that type of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? It was a lot more personal, and now it feels a lot more manufactured, the way that they portray this stuff. And when these things come out, because they propagate weirdos in place, right? And the weirdos in Hollywood, they're all across the board, but this is very much a nuanced and niche, type of thing, because again, there's already so much bias against this community and how they conduct themselves when it comes to, again, what's being propagated, that this type of scenario sets the T's back, a long time. It's going to be hard for them to make any progress. You know what I mean? It's going to be hard for them to push their cause. So, in that case, I feel bad that, the few ruin it for the many. And this individual needs to be locked up for quite a long time. They need to make an example out of this individual, because this individual continues to get caught up lying, you know what I mean? And is now facing some serious time because they pulled a Chris Hansen. You know what I mean? And to all the homies out there that I know that are in the T's community, right? I feel bad for y'all, man. I do, because, I know members of the community that, they're in relationships and they're doing their thing. and they never had to go about being on some grimy, like, you know, underhanded methods or anything like that. The majority of the T's that you meet in real life are just regular folks. You know what I mean? They don't do any of this weird, crazy stuff they try to show you on, you know, in Hollywood and on TV. And that already in itself is harboring progress. But when you have something like this, you know, progress for them. But when you have something like this come out, you know, clean, get this person out of here, bro. Straight up, get this person up out of here. You know what I mean? And as far as for the child that's involved, you know, it's like this child felt as though they were dealing with an older woman. So it was like the kid would thought, you know, oh man, I was finna smash this older chick, blah blah blah. This older chick coming on to me, like, and then the older chick is like, it's like that teacher fantasy that some young bulls be having. And then at the last second got hit with the rug pull, by the way. And this person tried to use the fact that there are people who are embarrassed, especially if they didn't know, right? If they didn't know, it's not their preference, and then you were to trick them into doing something they would not have otherwise wanted to do, coerce them or finessed it, they're embarrassed, and you're thinking, oh, you know what? This person's so embarrassed, they're not even going to tell. That's diabolical, bro. Like, what is wrong with you? You know what I mean? That's to me, that's worse. That's way, that's just as bad, I mean, as taking it, as a man taking it, because, you're finessing somebody, like finessing somebody out of it that's as far as it can go for a dude. I mean, you're not going to take, traditionally you're not. And, our version of it for as women is like forcefully taking it. And in this case, it's like this right here, if to people who don't know, right? Like, I've been hit on by people where I had to guess and they wouldn't come clean. And it pissed me off because of how on point you have to be these days as a dude. Because there are members of this community that move like this because they think this is an example of how to move, lying, finessing, all this type of stuff. And they come on to you all weird and extra, and it's very pressury and coercy. It's weird. You know what I mean? You don't like it. And then you come to find out they were lying, bro. That anger and that, like, that's a real thing. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine how this young kid would have felt to have been in the mix, and then all of a sudden to find out, like, by the way, I'm a member of the T community, and this person's grown. You know what I mean? Overall, terrible, nasty work, bro. This is a terrible job. Get them up out of here, bro. Genuinely, like, go ahead and roll him up. I don't even need to get any further into this as far as, who else may have been involved, who else was there. I don't really care about that. Only because this is enough. This is enough. Just off the dribble. This right here is enough, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? Everybody has a right to a fair trial and this and this and that, but it sounds, the child, they went and reported this person. And yeah, bro, this is just nasty work. I don't really know what else to say about it other than that. Yeah, I'll leave your thoughts in the comment section. And leave a like, subscribe, bro, for the world we live in.